What's up, everybody? My name is Steve. This is the Fandom Show, and it's the start of another week, which must mean it's time for another episode of Mondays Suck, which is our recurring feature where we talk about, well, stuff that sucks. Today we're talking about Rocky V. If you've never seen Rocky V, don't. This movie came out in 1990. The first Rocky movie came out in 1976. So by this point in time, we'd had about 15 years of Rocky movies. The plot of Rocky V, well, let's get into it. Rocky has retired as the world heavyweight champion, not out of choice, but because he's been diagnosed with a medical condition, which means that he can't fight anymore. On top of that, he's discovered that one of the people who was supposed to be responsible for his money has squandered a whole ton of it, and so he has to move out of his mansion and lose his fancy cars and stuff, and he has to go back to Philadelphia and basically back to the workman's life that he was living in the original Rocky movie. At the same time, there's this young boxer who's trying to get Rocky as a trainer, and there's a world heavyweight champion who's trying to goad Rocky out of retirement and into a fight. And it just kind of goes back and forth from there. The young champion that Rocky's training goes with the bad guy, and eventually there is a fight at the end of the movie, but it's not an actual fight in a boxing ring because Rocky's retired. It's just a street fight. And the problem with Rocky V is it's basically just a pastiche of scenes from the previous four movies. So if you took various scenes from the previous four movies, strung them together, you would get Rocky V. There's nothing in this movie that we haven't seen before. It's just kind of more of the same. And after 15 years, it's like, we've seen this before. It's not doing it for us. So Rocky V, not commercially successful, not critically successful, widely regarded as one of the crappier movies of its time. Here's an interesting fact. Rocky was supposed to die at the end of this movie, but it was Sylvester Stallone himself who put the brakes on that, and his reasoning was that the Rocky series is supposed to be about perseverance. Of course, if he died, he wouldn't be persevering with anything, right? So they decided to change it up so that Rocky lived. Here's another interesting factoid. You might remember that there was a sixth Rocky film in 2006 called Rocky Balboa. And one of the reasons why that movie got made in the time between when Rocky V was made and when Rocky Balboa was made, medical science actually began to learn a lot more about Rocky's condition. It was discovered that it's actually a lot less debilitating than they thought that it was. So this provided enough justification to put Rocky back in the ring for Rocky Balboa. If you have not seen Rocky Balboa, you should. It's a great movie. Of course, Sylvester Stallone would also reprise the character in Creed and Creed 2, also good movies if you haven't seen them, so that's a positive. The Rocky franchise recovered, but again, Rocky V, if you're really bored on a Sunday and this movie happens to be around and you like Rocky, it might be worth checking out. I wouldn't go out of my way to find this one. Personally, I think that Rocky IV was a great bookend to the original Rocky series. You know, you got the Cold War victory over the monster Russian. Rocky's the world heavyweight champion, and everything's happy with the world. I think they could have ended it right there, and that would have been perfect. But no, they had to stretch it into Rocky V. So again, if you've got nothing better to do, sure, why not check it out if you want to, if you like Rocky. But it's totally skippable. And my personal recommendation would be to skip this one, go right to Rocky Balboa, and if you're interested, Creed and Creed 2, and you'll get much, much better movies than having to deal with this thing. So the good news is that, like this movie, Rocky himself did rise from the ashes and go on to do some great things. There are a lot of bad movies that don't kill franchises. This is yet another one, so thumbs up for that. Will we get a Creed 3? Will we get more movies in the Rocky series? Who knows? It's still an iconic series, which is fantastic. This movie did not have enough in and of itself to bring down, so it's just one of those movies that, yeah, it's an outlier, it sucks, it's not too Rocky, be done with it. That's all for tonight, guys. Thanks for watching.